champ is here. The 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 champ is here.
No doubt, the champs are here in the basement. Welcome to State Champions Podcast. We in the basement on State Champions Podcast. We discuss people, politics, community, and culture. What would our podcast be with two great friends, former coach, current coach, high school teammates that won not one but two Class A state championships here in Michigan.
That's right.
Out of none other Detroit Cooley. I'm your co-captain, Raphael Peterson, to my left and to your right, co-captain George T. Ward. On State Champions Podcast, is your first time tuning in, you got to understand, we do one thing. We make sure we celebrate, and we always do a toast. We find out what we're going to toast to during the show.
That's right.
Just get y'all glasses ready, and y'all going to toast with us. So our upcoming guest, G, he really needs no introduction. None whatsoever. I'm talking about, matter of fact, he fits our mantra and our motto perfectly. A person that's in politics.
That's right.
Was the community. I'm talking about for the community of Detroit for a long time. And talking about the culture. When you talk about Detroit's lexicon, you cannot talk about that without mentioning this brother. This brother, he's definitely a husband. He is a brother. He is definitely cash tax on.
Oh, man.
He is the son of two of my favorite people.
Hell of a father.
Mr. Oh, for sure that. Mr. Bernard Kilpatrick and Mrs. Caroline Kilpatrick. And we're talking about, without further ado, G, let's bring him to the set.
That's right.
We're talking about none other than Kwame Kilpatrick. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be here. I've been trying to get a championship since y'all was in high school.
Oh, man.
Oh, so man, listen, if you had been at Cooley, then you could have got a championship, at least in basketball. I don't know. Was we that good that year in football?
No.
In 88? No, we weren't that good.
Hey, man, you said that too quick.
No. Y'all wasn't around. We went to the championship, but Chassis was just too
Chassis
good.
was good.
And
they had them Finkel boys.
You had all them over.
Your last high school athletic event.
Mm-hmm.
Did you throw the discus or anything in track?
No.
So your last high school athletic event, who was it against?
It was against Detroit Cooley.
That's right.
At UAD.
At Callahan Hall.
Callahan Hall. That was the last one.
That was the last one.
That was the last one. Well, I got one layup. I had 2 points in that game.
You needed about 12 more.
Y'all was dangerous, man.
Ain't no question.
Man, y'all was dangerous. Y'all had an incredible team. Y'all had at every position, y'all had the person in the city that needed to be at that position.
Unreal.
Oh, yeah.
It was tripped out. Yeah, we hated y'all.
No, listen, man. Y'all wasn't the only ones who hated it.
No,
there was a lot of people that hated it.
But everybody, it's like hating Jordan. You admire how good he is.
Yes,
you love him. But at the same time, we Piston fans.
Come
so
on. You don't want it. Yeah.
There you go. So listen, I want, before we get started, I definitely have to ask, how is mom and pops doing? How are they doing?
Well, Pops is doing very well, man. He's 83 years old.
Okay.
He got a little dog now, so he out there walking him every day. We walking a couple miles a day doing this thing. Same old same. Mom is having some significant health challenges.
Okay.
And I asked the listeners to put a prayer out there for Mama.
Oh, for sure.
Mom is she's a warrior. And, she is going through a struggle. For 2.5 years, that's what I was doing. I was living with my mom, caring for my mom. Most people didn't know that. I tried to get out on weekends, do a couple speeches, but I was in that house Monday through Friday with my mom. So, but I am thankful for that time. By the grace of God, I had the opportunity to do that. Mike could have had the opportunity to do that.
That's right.
For sure, for sure. So one thing that I definitely want to do, because if we went over your accolades, we'll be here all day, and all everybody will get is all your accolades. You know what I mean? I mean, you talking about FAMU, obviously out of cash, FAMU, Juris Doctor, Michigan State, and then the youngest state rep in Michigan history that's still on the books.
No, it's probably somebody younger now. I think they got some younger cats, but I'm definitely the youngest probably to be chairman of a committee. And the youngest to be leader, and the youngest to be floor leader. They ain't whooped that yet.
Yeah. No, they ain't gonna do that.
So what about in terms of age wise as mayor? Were you the youngest?
Oh yeah, yeah,
not even close.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a guy way back. He was the same age, but that was before Detroit was Detroit.
Yes.
So,
okay.
But yeah, I was the youngest.
Oh, you was the youngest. So so now it's what I want to do is, because a lot of times, because of what has happened, people forget about the great things that you've done for the city. And go ahead, G, because I know G got a couple of things that you want to add in there.
Well, I mean, you think about it, oftentimes the person that's in office right now is getting credit for a lot of things, but we are so quick to turn our backs. I just got to say what it is. But the harsh reality of it is the great things that you did while you were in office. You look at the parks and the playgrounds now, people say, wow, man, they're doing a great job. Well, this started years ago. I remember when you first started getting the parks going and beautified them and made things really look good around the city. Talk about some of the things that you did, that you initiated while you were in office.
First thing I want to do, because people always think when you talk about some of the good things you did, you hating on somebody else.
No, this ain't anti nobody.
But no, man, I give all credit to Coleman Young, Dennis Archer, Dave Bing, Duggan, whoever had that job. That's a rough job to have. I think it's different now than it was then. I think Coleman Young, Dennis Archer, Kwame Kilpatrick, we'd have loved to have that Duggan press. But 36 new parks in the city of Detroit. That was a big deal for me because I grew up in the city, and the parks didn't have no rims and stuff. So we did 36 new parks. We built 6 new rec centers. That was the first new rec centers in the city at that time. But all the stuff people enjoy, campus marshes, totally redesigned campus marshes down there, and did that. When we hosted the Super Bowl, we had to get that together.
Major.
Detroit hadn't built a new hotel since 1989 when I came in. It was the Athenaeum. It was the last new hotel. They built that right when we got out of high school.
Yep.
And we built 7 hotels in 5 years, 3 casino hotels and the Book Cadillac and put Pick 4 Shelby. And then, I think that the cherry on the top of all of it is, for my entire life, they were talking about developing the riverfront from bridge to bridge. Yes, so we did the entire riverfront development in 5 years. And what people don't know, it just got the #1 riverfront in the country. Campus Marshes got the #1 park. We funded the riverfront in 2006 forever. So all the money that's been spent on the riverfront, every phase, every time you see something new down there, that still goes back to the team that was put together back in 2005 and 6. Wow. And I want people to understand that, because there was a lot of people that worked on this thing, and they get all upset when they all, we did that. And listen, we all Detroit.
That's right.
So, we love it that it's happening now, but I do want to give credit where credit is due. Caroline Kilpatrick.
Yes.
We needed $5 million to get the Kresge money, the $50 million, to be able to fund the riverfront. She got the reprogram money and appropriations and got $5 million to the city of Detroit so we can have a riverfront. Then she reprogrammed money so we can get that train running up and down Woodward. Okay. So although it's the Q train and all of that, and Dan Gilbert put his face on, that was Caroline Kilpatrick. So
absolutely.
I really, one of the things I don't like is that the people who finish something, the people don't get credit that actually the foundation that started it and put the money in for it. And so I, not me, but I wish Mom's got really to do for what she did for this town. She was the only person that we had on the federal side on the appropriations committee. So most of the things that you're seeing was Caroline Kilpatrick's rewriting bill, changing, reprocessing money, redirecting money. She did her thing in Washington. And so I wish, I'm giving you my flowers while you're still here.
Oh, no doubt about it. And one thing that I always appreciate, and some people say, well, I like when you were in office and you would be in the neighborhoods.
Yes.
You would show up at
Oh,
a block club means you'll show up at the barbecues.
Question.
And everybody was on that magic carpet ride with you. And that's one
No
thing I
question.
appreciate so much, because going to George's point and what you're saying, a lot of things were started when you were in office, and you have to give those people credit. And a lot of times we don't do that. But of course, we know what happened. And I think this is probably one of my biggest things that I really wanted to talk to you about.
sure.
Was once everything changed and the downfall came.
Yes.
But you obviously state prison, federal prison.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to please explain and talk about the time how when you got on the yard, I think you said it was Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
and you met the brother that you described him as crazy as the day is long.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
Big
want
dude.
you to go to the point of how you found that solitude, and you basically came and had that energy, and you found the supreme being, the Almighty God. I want you to
That's right.
tell that story, because it was, when I heard it, I'm in there like this. I'm dead serious. When you was telling the story, Brother Kwame, I was like this. I'm like, this is crazy,
Yeah.
because now it makes sense to me.
Totally.
But a lot of people don't know the story.
Yeah.
And I want you to kind of, if you remember, we was out on the Lilies on the River where we was at. And I came in and you was out there, and a number of people, because I got invited by the who invited me there? I can't think of not Bishop, but Mr. Smith. That's who invited
Apostle
me.
Smith. Ellis
Yeah,
Smith.
Apostles. Yeah, he
Apostle
invited me.
Smith.
So anyway, but I want you to tell that story, because I want people to understand how, because it's in my opinion, it's a redemption story,
Yes.
but it's being able to tell people where you got to find your solitude and just deliver that point to
the inner peace.
You know, when I left here, just so everybody know, when I left here, I was just as mad at y'all as y'all was at me. You know, I was very furious, very angry, very hurt. You know, most men, we don't know where to put hurt. We just put it in the anger box.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
for sure.
We don't really connect with that. So, you know, my divorce, I tell people this, my divorce from Detroit was far worse than my divorce from my first wife.
Have mercy.
Wow. You know, that was tough, but no, to leave Detroit, I I was a Detroiter to me.
Through and through.
And so when I got finally to that, I got 28-year sentence. I get to the yard. I'm mad. I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do. I can't talk to my sons. And at that time, they were 17, 11. The twins were 17 and the little fellas were 11. So I'm like, man, little fella was 11. I said, oh man, I got to get to them. The big fellas, they drop out of school. They're in the 11th grade. We out. They mad, frustrated.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling people in Texas trying to get them back to school, get them up here to visit me, and I'm just finally like, man, I'm done with this. I'm tired.
Yes, sir.
My little guy, he was in the 6th grade, and he had never got a B in his life. Mess around the next semester, he getting D's and C's, his dad gone. And I'm like, this is horrible, So I'm mad at God.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
You
Got
go.
me here.
Yep.
I'm not
Here
just
we
mad
go.
at people. I'm mad at God, shaking my hand at him. I started cussing more. I'm man, this is up. And then I'm just depleted, but I was trying to work on my cases. I ended up one day closing the book, said, you know what, whatever. I go and stumble up in the chapel at the prison. I was at El Reno FCI in Oklahoma. It's in El Reno, Oklahoma. And there was this big old dude, this guy named Bruce Smith, about 6'4", big fella, Vietnam vet, white guy. I'm talking about make America great type of white guy.
sir.
He was like one of them type of dudes. And he just hollering at me, hey, big guy, big fella. He hollered at hey, do you have a personal relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ? That's how he was talking. I said, man, no. I said, I don't even know what that is. And he said, finally, some honesty in this place. He said, can I talk to you? And he took me to the chapel. I said, man, yeah, I was just broken enough to really listen to him. And he sat there and gave me the gospel of Jesus Christ, just a simple gospel. I mean, he didn't say nothing fancy or nothing. I'm sitting there, man, crying like a baby. By the time he finished, he said, do you want to receive him right now? I said, yeah. I kneeled down and prayed with this big old white guy.
Wow.
And receive Christ. And I could say everything changed from that point. It wasn't no lightning or thunder, but my perspective changed. Went back to the same cell with the same cellie. And And the next day I went up to the chapel and asked him for a job. And the chaplain said, yeah. And so I started working at the chapel at El Reno. I worked in that chapel for about 4 years. I was the janitor. I was the janitor for a couple of years, you know, and then I was one of them anal janitors, man. Don't step on the floor.
Yeah, yeah. I just mopped.
I just mopped that, man. Baby, you see the sign, baby. You know. I was that dude, right? You know, wiping the pews. But the chaplain was a dude that was dialed up by God. He just wanted me to learn the Bible.
Yes, sir.
So he got all the teachings, all the stuff I can want, any book, any course I wanted to take. He just did it. And then about 2 years into that, he asked me to start teaching Bible studies. I started teaching Bible studies. And then after that, you know, I'm teaching a Bible study. And then we had another guy coming in. His name was Jerry Leonard. Jerry Leonard had been coming to this prison for 40-something years. And Jerry was like old guy, 80 years old. He'd come in there, but he was a Holy Ghost man. You know, he was one of them.
Okay.
He had the Holy Ghost, you know. So I'd be sweeping and mopping in the chapel, and he'd be up there hollering and screaming. I'm like, these people crazy.
Crazy,
man. You know, they're crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
And he said, hey, big fella, why you don't never come to my class? I said, I don't do all that speaking in tongues, all that kind of stuff. He said, oh, okay, we should just throw that right out of the Bible then. Matter of fact, come on in. I'll rip those pages right out. You can come in right with that. I said, man, you tripping. But, you know, anyway, he really brought me in and talked to me about the baptism. So my point is, God was strategically placing people in my path. But it was like all of these white guys, the chaplain, Bruce. And so I'm from Black Detroit. I was black, grew up in the shrine of the Black Madonna. So I saw it as also God trying to bring me out of that too. You know, out of that, to be able to receive and accept wisdom, knowledge, understanding from other people.
Yes, sir.
You know, because I was always suspect, man. What's up with you? You know?
Yeah.
But when you're broken enough, you receive it. And that was it. I started teaching Bible study, started learning more about it, started preaching in the chapel. And the day I did my first sermon, I knew I didn't want to do nothing else. That's where I wanted to be. I've watched people come out of gangs. I watched people come out of nonsense. I watched people come out of the violence, counseling people, writing letters, filing motions. I got 11 guys, either reduction of system, sent their sentence or out of prison. I couldn't get me out, though. It was crazy. I would write 3 commutations. Me and 2 other guys. They'll get it. I got it. Yo, big homie, I got it. Then I come back. I'll be denied. I'll be like, this is crazy. But I just stayed, you know, real hopeful and really genuinely excited for other people's freedom.
That's right.
Because I wasn't no hater. But I also knew that if the spirit of freedom was in the prison, I was going to get it pretty soon.
Wow.
So I got transferred to Fort Dix to another prison. And I was there for a year. And then I got transferred back to Louisiana for another year, but I never hit them at them camp type places. I was always in straight prison.
No, prison.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So, but it was at I didn't know it, but I remember you probably have heard. I filed a compassionate release, and I got it. And they put it on the news here that I was getting out and all kind of stuff.
No, hold on. Before you go there, see, because you got it. Now I want to pull this back because I want people to understand. I need about the prayer, Proverbs 21, verse 1. I need for people to hear this story about what you did in terms of that prayer every single day. Go ahead, because I don't want to run, because I can't tell the story like you, but you tell that story.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'm shortening it from the time we met in Farmington Hills, but I received a compassionate release. The rule then, because it was COVID. That was in April of 2020.
Yep.
So it was the COVID rules. So you had to go to the isolation for 21 days before they let you out. So I go over to isolation. I'm there for 6 days. They snatched my release. So they had it in the news here, and I called my mother, called everybody. I'm coming home. And they geeked and everything. And 6 days later, I signed the release papers and everything, and they snatched it. The warden come, he said, listen, I don't know what's going on, but we want to keep you here because I think something's going to happen and you might get out of here. So then May, June, July, I'm still sitting in isolation. But I started to pray this prayer while I was there. It was Proverbs 21:1. It says there, the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, and like the rivers of water, he could turn it whichever way he pleases.
Wow.
And so I started praying that and saying, Lord, turn President Trump's heart towards me. I never met President Trump. Didn't know nobody. Didn't
Say
know
it again.
President Trump.
Say it again.
But I was sitting up in the tank, yeah, because everybody he paid President Trump, his people, ain't nobody people. It wasn't none of that. This was all God. So I want to make sure he get the glory for it.
That's right.
Talking
There
stuff,
you go.
try to make it something.
That's
else.
right.
There you go.
And just before I forget that, President Trump ain't never asked me for nothing.
Wow.
He's never said, hey, I need you to support. I need you to do something for me. He ain't never been. I met with him for an hour. He didn't ask that. We kicked it. He was asking stuff about Michigan, how I win Michigan, what I need to do, who over there. And I was giving him the game.
There you go.
But he never said, I need you to do, or you better
Return this favor.
No, he never asked me. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I went to the meeting waiting, like, oh,
You anticipate.
Anticipating. Never did. Never did. I walked, I was at Mar-a-Lago in the meeting room, sitting there with Donald Trump, and I ain't asked him for nothing, and he ain't asked me for nothing.
Wow.
But we kicked it though. It was good. I ended up spending the whole day with him. But that was cool.
And so
but I'm gonna go back to the story.
Okay.
I'm praying that prayer 200 days. Sitting up in there. I got released again in October. 6 days later, they snatched it. It was the Attorney General Barr. He didn't want me out. He told people over his dead body I'd get out of there.
Wow.
And so we sitting around doing, that January 6th stuff. I ain't know about it, but there's stuff. The people in the, they talking. I can't see a TV in isolation. So dudes coming by the cell. Hey, big homie, let me tell you, man, they going crazy at the White House. I said, what you mean?
What's that?
Not the White House, over there with Pelosi and them work. They peeing up in there. So this is how I'm here. I'm here the program.
You ain't seen nothing.
I ain't seen nothing. They peeing, they breaking the windows. I said, come on, man. Listen, man. Hold on.
Yeah.
Where Pelosi works is the Capitol.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm talking about. They in there. Who in there? Think about it if you never saw pictures.
Oh, no.
Yeah. When you say they in there, who is in there?
Yeah, who is there?
Man, white people from all over the world up in that. I said, wait a minute. Hold on. So they took over the thing. What are you talking? Man, they bust up windows. They in there, man. They beating people up. And
Yes, sir.
I said, wait a minute, man. What you talking about? Then he said this. And they trying to tell Trump he got to resign. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've been praying.
Yeah, like, hey, dog.
Listen now. He don't need to go. You better sit right there now. Sit there. When I told him this, he was cracking up. Sit there you got to sit there to January 20th now. I need you to come on through from Kwame.
Yeah.
But I'm praying. So it's all kind of stuff going on. I'm hearing about it. I'm praying the prayer. I talked to my now wife on the phone. I got a phone call on January 15th. I'm thinking everything's, going crazy out there. And she said, well, yeah, but we're just going to believe God. And, we said, I've been talking to her for about 2.5 years at that point. And we said that I'd be out on her 40th birthday, which was January 28th of 2021. Wow. So I'm going to get out. So we were saying at 18, we talking about, I'm going to be out when you get the birthday and all this kind of stuff. It was about 3 years at that point. And so she said, even if you're not out on my birthday, we're going to figure this out. Trust God, love one another. Wow. And I was like, no, I'm coming up out of here. I went back, got on my bed after they hung up that phone. They stick the phone through the thing and through the chute. And I'm talking on the phone, hang up. I start praying again. Lord said, shut up. Study. I couldn't even pray. I just started studying Ezekiel, was doing different things. And on January 19th, dude was doing the midnight count. He came by.
Let's tell this story.
Come on, man.
And Ortiz come by, the CEO. I said, CEO, hit the door. I said, hey, man, if you check the computer, I just got a commutation.
Listen right there.
He said, who told you that, Kilpatrick? I said, now listen, Ortiz, if you check it, I just got a commutation. Kilpatrick, who told you that? I said, the Lord told me.